We have some really big news coming in for the next round of updates that are going to be coming. What they say is ideally at the end of next week. It looks like there's a huge amount of changes coming to Endgame. I think that this is always going to be good, right? Buffing up some chase uniques that are not good, and giving you more opportunities to get. I don't know if it's to say more chase unique than before, but at least build defining unique should be a little bit easier to get sometimes. We'll see how much, like, what does this significantly mean, right? Because I do still think chase uniques should still exist. I think there should be things that we want to work towards and want to like kind of farm for, get currency for, whatever it might mean. But I do agree in the sense that if we are trying to cater towards a more general audience, chase uniques be a little bit less rare is a good thing. Because like one of my viewers, Bacon, Mr. Bacon, he was talking about how he hated how in Path of Exile there are some uniques you might just never see in your life, especially like some of them are build defining. And again, for me, I still think that there should be chase uniques. I agree that there should be chase uniques, but I definitely see from a more like general audience perspective how that could be kind of really tough. They're adding 22 new runes, 14 new soul cores, and 7 new talismans. I'm a little bit concerned though, I'm not gonna lie, because the whole point of runes versus like, what was it, like the skill tree stuff, right, was to make it so that it's like simple, right? But then like, if you're adding 22 runes, 14 soul cores, and 7 talismans, I feel like that might be overload, like information overload for like a newer player or something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, I thought that the whole reason why runes existed was to not overload people. But if you're adding like, at this point, I think there's going to be like 40 runes and like 30 soul cores and stuff like that. It seems kind of crazy. All right, rituals. So Ritual also suffered from us pitching the chase rewards to rare as well. We're making the rare omens from Ritual more common. You'll see the same number of omens, but they have significantly higher probability of the rarer, more exciting ones. I wish they didn't say this, because this is going to make things a little bit less exciting, but I still do agree with what they're doing, because like I was saying earlier, I don't think that omens, that like whittlings and all that should be as rare and expensive as they are right now. It reduces our ability to actually use them to craft. I think most of us, like 99, like I think like 90% of people who find these just sell them and they don't craft them. All right, corrupted essences. Again, same idea, right? Less rare of the corrupted essences. Same kind of idea as these ritual stuff. Make it so that you can use them for crafting a little bit easier and more often. Delirium Essence 5 div, yeah, exactly. I think like overall crafting stuff, I don't think any of them should be that rare, with the exception of like maybe like a mirror, right? I think like crafting items need to be relatively accessible for people to actually want to use them. Only the upper 1% of people really will ever use the rare omens and rare essences. Everybody else is going to sell them. I mean, what do you max your gear with those cheap crafting materials? What do you now? What's your next goal? Nothing? Well, I'm not saying that these should be like the same as like exalts or chaos orbs. I'm saying that they shouldn't be 10 divines. Bring them down to 2, maybe 3 divines, right? 2 to 5, right? The more expensive ones, right? The dextral 8 omens or whatever they're called, those be 5. Whittlings, about 2 to 3. Rogue Exiles. Rogue Exiles didn't have enough unique items. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. That's not the problem with Rogue Exiles. Unless the unique items can be good, unless you can get some Pog uniques from this, it feels like the reason why Rogue Exiles are not good is because just in general, the stuff they drop is crap. Adding more unique frequencies might just mean you're getting more garbage uniques to drop. Combined with better chance for good uniques, Rogue Exiles would be more true. Since they are combining this with the fact that they are making unique items better overall, it could be a significant change. You're right. I didn't think about that. So maybe this might be more impactful than I thought. Twisted Domain. The boss in Twisted Domain was pretty valuable, but as an endgame area, the rest of it was pretty underwhelming compared to other content you're doing at the time. Pinnacle Colonies should not be giving less rewards than dozens of maps required to gain access to. True. To start, we have substantially increased the number of rare monsters that spawn during the domain. Previously, there would often be no rare monsters at all. In addition, we have changed the balance of quality and rarity that monsters in the domain have. This will mean that large drop of items that occur right before the boss fight should now be more valuable than before. So now we're also guaranteeing some rare reach rings, so you should come away with at least decent chance of some powerful items. I do agree that Breach right now is in a really bad place. We are not getting anything from this, so hopefully this will help out with that. Next up, Expedition Logbooks. This is like an essay right here. One thing that makes logbooks unrewarding is the fact that at high levels, they have so few monsters spawn, they often yield significantly less items than regular endgame maps. This is reflected in the fact that at low level 90s, you could do an entire level 80 logbook and not gain 1% of EXP. We're doing a pass on the amount of monsters spawning to intensify the combat, but focusing on high level ones to match the consistency with other content. First change we're doing is making the distance between explosives and the explosive radius. This will allow you to ultimately cover more monsters and rewards. On top of this, we are increasing the number of monsters spawned to be more reflective of what the endgame map has in it. Additionally, we're making changes to specific features found in each region logbook, each of the different logbook areas. Lush Isle area currently has Karui totem remnants that cause the monsters to give substantially increased experience. It also has fenced off areas where you can explode the fence and gain additional access to totems that drop a lot of currency items, and beaches there are small corruption pustules that drop uncut skill gems. In order to improve this area, we are increasing the number of remnants, especially the experienced ones. So they really want like Expedition to be like a good place to get experience. I'm not sure if I'm fully on board with this one. Like, as long as this doesn't impact the drop ones and the rarity ones, then I'm fine. Like, as long as it's like overall there's more remnants and there's more experienced ones, it doesn't make it so that there's less rarity ones, that's fine. But it kind of sounds like there's a potential that the experienced ones can overtake the number of like rarity ones, and that would be kind of rough. The tree will generate more fenced off areas, and a larger change to the pustules we made, so destroying them will cause all monsters on Earth afterwards to spawn with corruption monsters on death, similar to those in corrupted areas. I don't like those monsters, so I don't know that one. Unless they change the fact, like the hitboxes of them, and that you can't hit them when they're spawning, but you can run into them. We'll see. Combined with the base changes that dramatically increase the number of base monsters spawned during logbooks, it is intended that Lush Isle provides a very good source of experience. So overall, this is like for experience. And I guess Lush Isle in general is the one that they want for experience. Okay, so it's not just like an overall change. The Frigid Bluffs logbook area is an icy tundra with Vol architecture, and many Vol monsters and Vol remnants frozen in time. Aside from the traditional expedition monsters and chests, you can also explode these Vol items free. The problem is these are relatively underwhelming. There are a few monsters, and they are not more rewarding than normal expedition monsters. And on top of that, the remnants just cause the monster drops to be corrupted. Yes, that is a huge downside. That basically, I never blow these up because it just makes the drops corrupted. Terrible. Making changes here. On top of the Vol monsters, we're going to have some more Vol bosses. Ooh, these are standalone map bosses that can be broken out and fought. All the remnant modifiers will apply to them as normal. Holy crap, those things are buff as fuck. The Vol remnants that cause items to drop corrupted are now being reworked. They will generate 1 to 3 upsides and 1 to 3 downsides. So I guess instead of being something that you don't want to get every single time, there's like a, oh, do I want to get this right now? Are the upsides outweighing the downsides, which is good. Barren Atoll Logbook is an atoll that sea travelers and fishermen have used to store their treasure and supplies. The area currently has crates to fill with gold, strongboxes, and enzymite runes. The issue is that crates drop far too little gold, and there are far too few strongbox and runes. After our changes, the crates are going to drop more gold and are going to generate more strongboxes. And by a lot, I mean over 10 times as many, which could be unique strongboxes as well. Enzymite rooms, aside from already adding rarity to all subsequently unearthed monsters, will now drop 2 to 4 additional runes instead of the existing one. Given we're adding some new chase rune drops, this may be a good source to get them. All special features found in logbook areas are now being added to the minimap so you can see where they are. So that area, I mean, honestly, this kind of like the strong box area, right, might be like a really good one. If you can get like boosts to like rarity on like boxes and strong boxes and then get one of these, that sounds kind of crazy. Endgame content and variety improvements. This is kind of interesting, right? Did you know that if you were to generate 400,000 maps, that 150,000 would be hidden grotto? They literally took like one of the worst maps and like, hey, did you know that like, you know, a third of the maps that you generate are the one that you actually hate? So they're making it so that there's gonna be more variety of maps. Cool. Hopefully I mean, they'll probably add more maps over time as well, but it's cool that change. W patch. Yo, Angormus. I saw this thing. The Citadel thing. Oh my god. This thing. I was like, they definitely put this in there after seeing Angormus. They definitely put this in here after they saw you struggle in that in the DM league. Oh my god. Now Angormus can't blame the RNG. Dude, that is crazy. But also, I actually do think this is a good thing too. Because again, I don't think that Arbiter entries should be that expensive. This should definitely lower the barrier to entry for Arbiter. Because like, it's like this I said about this season, right? It's not worth it to do Arbiter. The pieces are just so expensive. Like, and he doesn't give anything that's that good. Like, your likelihood of getting something good is not that high. So I think that the barrier to entry of Arbiter needed to go down, and this is a step in the direction to make it go down. Both these changes to the Atlas layouts won't apply to areas in Atlas have already been revealed. In order to get the improvements, you have to explore further, okay? Additionally, expect some other endgame improvements, such as reducing the danger of 2 ritual types, I wonder which ones, that were just a ruckus of purple chaos explosion, reducing the danger, and increasing telegraphing of volatile plants, monster modifier. Combined, these were responsible for over half of all player deaths in the game. Wow! I mean, the fact that volatile plants were already over half means that, yeah. So we know which ones they're gonna change. They're changing volatile plants, and they're changing the little purple pustules on the ground. We're also lowering some of the more dangerous map modifiers like elemental penetration to be more in line with others, improving the rewards and visibility of omens in the Viridian Wildwood unique map. Can you just make that map better? Because it sucks. Increasing the radius of open clasped hands and breaches, reducing the pack size of bats that shotgun you projectiles in the Twisted Domain, and reworking cursed map mods that have counterplay. Here are some of the more isolated improvements coming. Trial of Sequence. In Trial of Sequence, we have adjusted the affliction that causes you to have no energy shield to instead half your energy shield. Thank goodness. This is for CI builds so they don't get randomly ruined. Their runs don't get randomly ruined. On top of this, we're making certain afflictions and boons, specifically, or we discovered a mistake with the chances of getting certain afflictions and boons. So specifically, there was 1 affliction, 2 minor boons, and 1 major boon, and 1 pack that had 100 times the commonality that they should have. That's kind of crazy. I guess maybe they just added 2 extra zeros on the code, because that sounds crazy. This would have caused players to be constantly be getting them as the first randomly generated outcome, and as these boons were in particular were weaker and the more boring ones, it would have made the runs less rewarding and interesting. Oh, okay, so I thought maybe they were like, oh, these are like some powerful boons that they're reducing the chance of, but it seems like these were like the weaker ones, so they're going to reduce that. That's good. Quality of life and experience changes. We've noticed some quality of life improvements in 0.2H, but there are more coming. We have had a huge improvement to searching on the passive tree when using keyboard and mouse. Now, when you search for passives by typing in the text field, you can press enter to automatically find and go to that passive. That is good, because searching on the passive tree is impossible. If there are multiple passives found in your search, continue to press enter will cycle through them. It also darkens the rest of the passage tree to help you find. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness, dude. Searching in the passage tree was absolutely a nightmare. I would have to use POB every single time. A huge request has been that we invert the display of tier X on items that we're using advanced display. This is so that you can immediately identify a modifier is the best it can be on an item. This is for more advanced and endgame players, but it's very important to be able to quickly assess the true power of an item or if it's an appropriate crafting base. We're swapping back to work the same as Path of Exile 1. Thank goodness. I mean, I didn't really mind too much, but I think that this is definitely better. On the atlas, when you hover over a map, it will separate categories of modifiers displayed, so you can more easily see where those modifiers are coming from. So this way you can now determine if they're from corrupted or cleansed influence in one category, and if they're from towers in another category. That's good. Performance improvements. Ooh, optimizing physics and monsters, making it significantly cheaper and cost less CPU-bound bottlenecks. That's awesome. The issue isn't prevalent everywhere, but common in areas with lots of humans, such as Ferrodin in Act 2 and Freythor in Act 1. We'll continue to optimize these improvements in every single patch, and we'll find all the suboptimal cases. We've also added some improvements, shop cosmetic panels, nobody cares, but whatever, cool. That summarizes 0.21 patch. All right. They're keeping things flexible as it might fall into the week afterwards. We'll keep you updated with further changes on some specific unique socketables between now and then. All right. So overall, big W patch. Some stuff I'm like, but I can't really find anything like super negative other than like maybe like players thinking about like rarity of omens and things like that. Maybe some people want it to be rarer, some people want it to be less rare. That's kind of the only thing that I think really this patch is like questionable, could be questionable about.